Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Garage Time TV here. I am Marshall and today we are getting back into our Bertone X19, but not for the right reasons. You see, I had gotten a nice little 8.5 by 11 paper concealed in an envelope in my mailbox, stating that my X19 is too loud for the neighborhood. Yeah, apparently that's a thing in the joys of HOAs. See, the bad thing is I'm kind of known in the neighborhood as the car guy, and these cars aren't the most inconspicuous, to say the least. So everyone knows that this is mine, and you can't miss it, despite its size. So I got that letter, and I can no longer have the stainless exhaust on the car because I drive this thing so much. Apparently people are not fans of it. So I've got to put the stock exhaust back on this with all of its stock glory. Catalytic converter, big old muffler. And I'm not really happy about it, but I'm really trying to avoid conflict in the neighborhood. You know, if we get our own shop one day, then we can swap back to this stainless exhaust. But yeah, we're gonna have to go back to stock. So that's what we're gonna be doing today, is the opposite of what most people want to do, go from stock to performance. Is we're going back to stock. Luckily I still have it. So we're gonna break that down off the shelf in all of its 80s glory and put it back in this thing. That requires removal of the rear guards, the grille, the splash piece back there. We're gonna have to open the rear trunk and that rear access panel. I did get some new exhaust studs, so we'll be able to swap those out. I think they're held in with bolts currently, and I want to go to studs. So we're gonna swap that out, get this thing lifted, and start working on that. Again, it's not something I really want to do, but trying to avoid HOA issues and being on the blacklist. So let's get the bus out of the way, back it out a little bit so we can get to that exhaust on the shelf. And then we'll start, you know, diving on this thing to put that exhaust back on there. And hopefully the gasket will play nice. I think it will, but we'll see. So we slid the bus back and we got the exhaust part off the shelf, but this is what it looks like when I took it off the engine, the seized one, which is actually back over there. We're gonna head over there in a second. But it's still got the cat on it. It's still got the springs. I didn't even bother taking those off. Huge muffler. I mean, you know, it comes down through the cat, up through the muffler. It's got the springs on it, all the way out, and then down the back on this little tiny exhaust. And then on the engine side, this is from the one that was originally in the car, locked up. We swapped this one out. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. But this is the manifold is still on here, and I'm gonna have to cross my fingers and hopefully we don't break any of those off. But we can see we've already got one, that's the Bluetooth option. So we've got 2 out of 3 studs, so we're gonna have to see if we can pull this one out and replace all these studs and pull this off of this one. Now I know a lot of people have asked to see this engine rebuilt, and this one is completely locked up. You can see some of the goodies in there that are the cause of that, but we're gonna dive, and I think this is a really good winter project. So this will be coming up soon on the channels. We're gonna dive into this and work with our friends over at Vic Autosports to get this thing rebuilt and looking good. And I'll probably just end up selling this once we rebuild it. So if you're looking for an engine, you know, be on the lookout for those videos coming shortly to the channel. But we're going to harvest this one off of it. Cross your fingers we don't break a bolt, because that would really be bad. And then I think what's worthwhile is cleaning this one up. So we'll probably, I don't know, probably go in the driveway, shoot this down with the hose to get a lot of this garbage off of it. And a bunch of loose stuff. Probably need to wire wheel this. I don't know if I have a gasket to seal this. I think we'll have to look on the shelf. Maybe we do. And then while this is drying, we can bust that manifold off, get the car up and start taking off the stainless one, getting all the access to all that, get that removed. Probably be worth, I don't know if it's really worth painting that, like with a high temp paint, because it does look pretty crummy. It's not the best looking thing. And those threads look a little scary too, but it's not the best looking thing. So maybe we'll paint it with some high temp paint or something like that. But when we come down here, you can't really see it. I mean, don't mind the stainless, but you can't really see it when it's up underneath there, especially when you're like my size. So maybe I'm not gonna bother painting it. Maybe at the exhaust tip, maybe we'll do the old Honda guy thing and just go get a fancy tip for it to make it look like it's got power. All like 86 of it. We'll see. Maybe we'll run to the Advance, see what they've got. But anyway, let's wash this up, bust that off, get this up, and start working. Well, we've got that exhaust manifold off, and we soaked it down with some PB Blast before we took it off while we were spraying down the actual muffler and cat and everything. So we were able to break it off of there, and not a single bolt broke, but my standard impacts weren't working. So for my birthday, my wife and my in-laws got me a 1,000 foot-pound half-inch impact, and this thing took them all right off, and that was fantastic. So super glad to have that added to our arsenal, so I can actually bust off lug nuts with that thing and not have to like lose them all by hand and then use my impact to zip them off. So super grateful for that, because I did quick work of it. Anyway, we've got our exhaust manifold off. Definitely all original. Again, we're gonna have to take that one bolt off, but she's a little, you know, crusty, and the gaskets are still stuck on there. I'd really like to at least, you know, paint this with some high temp paint, just so it doesn't look so old. And so I think we're gonna do that. Bad thing is now I'm gonna have to wash it off because it's got all that penetrating fluid on there. So we're gonna break that off. I'm gonna scrape off the old gaskets, probably wire wheel, stuff like that. Try and make it look a little bit better, but I think I'll try and work on, is it raining? It's exactly what you want when you're trying to paint stuff, is humidity and rain. And you're trying to get a muffler to dry out there in the rain. Awesome. Anyway, I think I'm going to work on this broken stud first, because I'm going to spray some more lubricant and stuff. No sense in washing it, just to spray more on it. So let's throw some time lapse on it, see if we can get this stud out. I mean, that is pretty in there. So hopefully we'll be able to get that out, and maybe even clean up some of these old studs. I don't know. I don't really want to risk trying to pull those out, but it sure would be nice. But I don't know, maybe we should just leave well enough alone. But let me get that muffler out of the rain so that I can actually dry, not keep getting soaked, and then we'll work on this. Lucky for us, we were able to get that out. That was, I mean, all the way in there. For a few minutes there, I really thought we were going to snap just this flat part off, but all the threads came out. I was going to take these out, but as soon as this one didn't start moving, nope, we're going to leave that. So we're going to put the heat away so we're not tempted to keep going. We'll clean up these threads. They look super solid, but I guess so did this one. I don't know. I think we'll just call that good. Take the victory when we got it, and start cleaning that up. And we can paint it, make it look a lot better than this. So I've got a FedEx notification that there is a package at the front door. So we need to go check that. I was expecting it, but not while I was recording. So let's take a look. I'm excited to open this one because this is from Fix, which is super exciting. But if you've been watching the series, you know that I've been looking for a front bumper plastic trim cover. So I've got the really big gap on the front of the X, and there's supposed to be a plastic piece that covers that awful gap. Well, this is where this comes in. And if you have been watching Jesse's build over at Eldest Builds, he's also working on an X19, but he tucked his bumpers. Well, Jesse took his engine over there, and with it, he took his cover. Well, this cover is, I can't wait to look at it actually, but this cover is the cover from Jesse's X19 over at Eldest Builds. So his car and my car are now forever tied together over one piece of plastic. And Vix was so sweet to draw us a happy late turkey day. That's really kind of them, actually. I really like that. So let's bust this thing open, even though I wasn't anticipating doing it. But we'll do that here in a second. But I've got the exhaust manifold drying, several coats of high heat for like barbecues and stuff, so really high heat rating. And then I also did it on just the downpipe portion. It's gonna be kind of visible in the engine compartment, so I want that to dry as well. You'll also notice I took out all the studs from the bottom just to be safe. I didn't say I was going to, but I did, because when I started cleaning it, I saw this bolt, if that's what you want to call it, stud, whatever's left of it. And that's when I knew, yeah, I just need to take them all out. This one wasn't bad, but when 2 out of 3 are bad, I'm just going to replace them all. So I took a thread chaser and I cleaned all the threads. We went to Advance and picked up some M8 by 125 studs. This is a 10 pack, so we've got enough for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got enough for all 10 of them in there, and they come with new nuts and everything. So while this is drying, let's crack this open. I want to take a look at it and set it on there, and then we'll start cracking into that. So as I was setting you guys up, I actually noticed that's, so handle with care, thank you, fragile, you know, makes sense, you don't want this thing to bend. That's French. What's in here must be F-A-N-C-Y, fancy. So it's got to be fancy. I mean, let's take a look at it. I'm excited. I've been looking all over for one of these plastic covers, and just, you know, some of you reached out and messaged me saying, hey, I think I have one, you know, from a parts car or whatever, let me take a look. And it's never quite panned out, you know, oh, I can't quite find it, or, you know, some people wanted huge money for a piece of plastic. So passed on some of those. So it's kind of glad that I did, because this worked out. So huge shout out to Jesse over at Eldest Builds. If you guys are not checking out his stuff, you definitely need to see his X19 stuff. He's got a lot of detailed stuff. All right. Oh, I don't want to pull it by the edge. I guess we'll just dump it out. It's chock full of paper, so it's gotta check it out. Come on. Oh, come on. Something else fell out. That doesn't sound promising. Don't hit the ceiling. Don't hit the ceiling. I hit the ceiling. Ah, finally. Now, is it absolutely perfect? No. But is it better than not having one at all? Yes, absolutely. So let's see what else fell out of this, though. I wasn't expecting really anything else. Holy smokes. Well, sounds pretty solid. But we've got more stickers. We like stickers of the X19, a Scorpion, all sorts of good stuff. So we'll make sure to toss some of those out to some of you. And then we'll see what this is. Now this is really heavy. I'm not sure what this is. It feels like it's a shift knob, I can tell you. So this is really funny, actually. It's kind of an inside joke, but this is a shift knob. It's like kind of custom. They don't sell this on their website, so this is really awesome. So huge shout out to Vix and Matt and the team there for this. But it's got first, second, third, fourth, and then freaking fast. I don't want to, you know, bleep it here on YouTube, but you get the idea. And then reverse. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Huge shout out, huge thank you to the guys over at Vix. I was not expecting this at all in the package, and that is awesome. We're definitely gonna have to throw this on right now too, because I mean you have to. So let's throw this on, because this is a quick swap, and then we'll toss this on and see how much better it looks with the cover on it. I know it's kind of a sidetrack, but you know, this is the fun stuff. This is part of the fun process of building these cars, is when stuff shows up and you get to play with it and put it on right away and see how much better it is. So anyway, let's put it on.
A few moments later.
What a difference. So it's not matching quite perfectly with the other plastic that's on the car because it's not from this car. Definitely needs to be cleaned up, but oh yeah, way better. Now granted, do I like the bumper sticking way out? No, not a huge fan, but it's better than it sticking way out plus a big gap. So this is much better. I just have it sitting on here and it's tucked in a little bit. It's still loose, but that is so much better. So much better with that on there. Now it matches in the front as it does in the back, except this is a black bumper and the front one is silver. So I think we may maybe remove that bumper and try and get the paint off of it. As you can see, there's silver underneath there. But anyway, we're getting distracted. So we've got some good stuff from Vic's. Make sure you guys check them out. Vic Autosports. Huge shout out to them for hooking it up with that and that awesome shifter knob. It looks really good in the car. You can see it down in there. It actually fits in my hand better. The factory one is pretty small, and that one's a lot bigger, so I can actually like get my hand around it.
That's what she said.
And hold on to it a little bit better. So I know there's a joke in there somewhere, but much better fitting. Anyway, this is being close to dry, so let's set this off to the side. We can finally get this up and start getting the old stuff out and start putting everything back in. But before we do that, I think we need to do one last hurrah with this exhaust. Not gonna get it hot, just gonna, you know, cold start it, hear it one more time, do it before and after, and see what kind of difference there is, because we're gonna have to go to this, unfortunately. But we'll come back to this one day. I'm definitely gonna hold on to it. It'll be some nice wall art somewhere. In the meantime, maybe up here we'll figure something out to honor it. But let's hear it one more time before it all has to come out. RIP to that exhaust. Time to take it out. It's so sad. So sad.
Many hours later.
Oh, holy moly. That took way too long. After removing the alternator and moving our AC compressor out of the way, we've got our header. I'm not doing this ever again, because this job is horrible. Absolutely horrible.
The next day.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's the next day, and late into the night we were fighting a stud that was forever seized in the cylinder head. Everyone's favorite. And I was fighting it, and I said, you know what? Let's just call it a night. Let's go inside, we'll soak it down with some PP blast, and we'll come out tomorrow. So I came out this morning really quick with a half-empty cup of coffee, and I took the ratchet to it, and it just started coming out, which is great news. That's fantastic. We don't have to fight it anymore. But I literally fought it for probably about 2 hours trying to get the thing out, and then I just come out this morning and just comes out. So that is out, and our exhaust manifold is actually installed now. I'll bring you in and take a look at it. But in the middle of the exhaust manifold, there's one stud that's longer than the rest, and I didn't realize that, so I had to put the exhaust manifold on, and the middle stud wasn't sticking through. Well, come to find out, whoever had this before me had broken that stud half off, so where it was long enough for our stainless headers, but not for the factory manifold. So that's the stud I took out, and ended up finding a piece of all thread in my stash that was metric. No surprise, considering everything I work on is European, but it fit perfectly. And so it's installed there, so let me finish this really quick and I'll show you guys where we're at so far. Coming in through the rear axis here, you can see our manifold is installed now. It's a stud here in the middle. And that's when I was fighting, and luckily I was able to replace it. But it's luckily all of it was studs. I thought it was bolts, but it's all studs. But taking those out and putting new studs on the bottom side here for our downpipe to meet is going to be super nice, because now we're not going to have to fight that. But it's all installed here. Took a little bit of finagling, but we did get it. We did upgrade the washers to a little bit thicker washers, so it has a better grip on those studs. So next thing is going to be installing the downpipe up from the bottom, which is going to be super fun, holding it while trying to put nuts on. Everyone's favorite. Well, we've got to change a plane. I was carrying this over to start, dragging this thing under the car, and I realized that there's a big old crack here where the exhaust pipe comes out of the muffler, and it's, pretty significant. So we're gonna do our best to just kind of fabric cobble weld that on. You can definitely tell that it's been pushed around. The exhaust pipe itself is all dented and dinged. It probably just got bumped really hard and it ripped out of the muffler. So I think what we're gonna do is some gentle hammering to get that back straight, and then I'll do my best to Stevie Wonder this back together, because I am no welder by any means. So let's take care of this first. Yeah, not so good.
1 hour later.
We got those welded on, and I'm definitely not going to show you because it's not anything I'm proud of, but it does, cover the massive gap from the crack that it created. It's able to hammer it down a little bit, but it's not good at all. So we're going to use the jack to help us get this exhaust up and in. I did put some anti-seize on the threads for the bottom of the manifold. Now if we ever have to take it down in the future, we don't have to fight it and potentially break off studs. So, forward thinking. Anyway, let's start getting this installed here. Note to self, change the battery before you do an excessive time lapse, because, you want to record it. But we did get the exhaust up in there. See, it's installed there, come out of its factory spot. I think the angle's a little off, but we'll adjust that later. It's all mounted up here, secured, O2 sensors in. I started to put the AC compressor back on also, so that's working its way back on. All we have left to do is reinstall our alternator. Now that we've got a lot more clearance because we don't have the headers, we can actually put that front fan on and some of the other accessories that were originally on it back on, so it'll work a little bit better and cool itself. But we're just going to start working this all together, tightening down these bolts, tightening the belts, things like that. O2 sensors plugged in electrically, as well as in the downpipe there. Comes out and through, and springs are attached, pulling it up. I think I'm missing a bracket here to hold this bottom brace. I'm going to have to look back, see if I held on to it. I'm sure I did, but I'll just have to see where that is, because I think that's missing. But we'll get this adjusted when we start putting the grill back on and all that stuff, but I don't want to do any of that until we fire this thing back up and have the sound difference. But let's finish knocking this stuff out. It's not super exciting to watch, plus it's hard to get you in there because of the angle. So we're just going to knock this quick and get it out of the way, finish it up, and then if this will play nice there, get that tightened up, and then we'll fire it up and see what it sounds like. Well, quite some time has passed, and we've got everything reassembled, belts on, alternators on, AC compressors on, everything's tight, ready to go. We're going to get ready to fire this thing up. Not really expecting it to sound super great. It's going to be definitely quieter, I can already tell, but that's alright. But anyway, better news, I found a heat shield that was off the original engine. So I just, cleaned it up a little bit, shot out with some paint, so we're going to let this dry a little bit more. But We have a heat shield, so that'll be nice. But what we're gonna do is fire it up and see what it sounds like. Probably just sadness and depression. Just stock. Now one thing I wanna, I guess, be cautious of is that the intake and the exhaust use the same bolts. So some coolant might have leaked into the intake ports, so we might have a little bit of smoke, but we also will probably have smoke from water in the exhaust from cleaning it yesterday. So we're probably going to be smoke, and it's going to take some time to clear that out, but you know, let's just get it running, I guess. All right, let's see what it sounds like now. Well, that is significantly quieter, and we are getting some smoke out of the exhaust, but again, there's water in it from cleaning it yesterday. It's not nearly as exciting as the stainless. Yeah, not as exciting, but definitely quieter. But I think we need to let it run, let it clear out all of this water and moisture in the system. And then we can always check the plugs after, make sure we don't have any continued leak of coolant into the combustion chamber, because that would be bad. But I think we're just going to let this go, let all this water that's coming out of it, you know, just kind of do its thing and clear out, warm up, and let the heat get it to evaporate. So we're just going to let this run and kind of get ready to put some stuff back together, and we'll have to let it cool to put that heat shield back on. But hey, it's installed. So we've been going for quite some time now. We've let the fans come on and kick off. So we've gone through a heat cycle, and a lot of the smoke has cleared up, which means that we don't have a coolant leak, which is nice. It's just that moisture left over from washing the exhaust. So we're going to kill it. See a little bit of the smoke coming off. That's all the dust and dirt that's been sitting on this thing for 20 years, sitting on under a carport. But all that's just some of the stuff burning off from messing with the grease and the dirt and all that stuff. So we're gonna kill it, and I think while we let this cool, come in here. All right, and while we let that cool, I think we'll jump onto our front trim piece. Again, huge shout out to Vix for hooking us up with this and getting a hold of it. But it definitely needs to be cleaned up. So I think this is something that we can work on and attach it while we're letting everything kind of cool down. That way we can work on our rear grille and reinstall all this back stuff. I just want everything to kind of clear out. We might even throw a fan in there just to help it. But let all this clear out, and then we can start reassembling all that. But we can work on some beauty stuff while we're waiting on that and clean this up and see if we can get it to kind of match. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll run to the store and get a bunch of plastic paint. I don't really want to use, something like this. What is this? The semi-gloss, right? Is that what that is? Yes, I think that's semi-gloss. Yeah, the gloss is the shiny cap. So that's the semi-gloss, and that's what we got out of our fin here. You can see there's still some shine to it, but this is more muted, and that's more shiny. You can see the difference. So worst case, we may even pull this off to match, but I like to use some sort of paint that's for plastic to kind of bring it back to life. And the other thing is this rear bumper. I don't know. We'll see if we can get this to clean up some and kind of match. Worst case, we'll just rip off all the plastic and paint it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's only removing everything. So let's take this off. Still not secured in there. We'll just rip it out and start cleaning it. Cleaning it up did pretty good. We just took an old magic eraser and some disinfectant cleaning stuff and just wiped it down. It looked like there was a bunch of little overspray from like house paint or something on it. There's still some on there, but I'm not too worried about that. But you can definitely see where it's you know, kind of more faded, and the sun is definitely eating it. I mean, it's a flat piece of old plastic that's black on top of that, so it doesn't make it any better. But I think that is significantly better than what we had before. I can kind of loosely just set it in there for mock-up purposes. You get the idea. Yeah, I think the match is alright. I mean, it's not absolutely perfect, but, you know, it's a 10 at 10 feet. So, I think we're going to go with that. So, I've got some nuts and washers to put these on. I believe these are M6s, or I'm not sure. But they fit on there. So, we're going to pop the hood, put on the nuts on the backside, and really secure it in. Well guys, that's going to be the end of this episode. Today we say goodbye to our stainless steel headers. It's a very sad day as we go back to stock, which is complete opposite of what we want to do, but maybe in the future we'll put these back on, and it'd be kind of nice bringing these back. For now, they're going to go on the shelf and out of the way. But we did have some good things. We got the front trim piece for the front bumper, which is fantastic. So again, huge shout out to Jesse over at Eldest Builds and Vic Autosports for connecting us with that piece that we were so desperately missing. We put in our stock system, and it sounds okay. I mean, it's gonna work. It does work. It's all back in there. We know it all fits, so it's not like we're really trying to like fabricate anything. But it's all put back together. I clean up all the tools. I'm starting to clean as I go, you know, so I'm starting to learn just a little bit. But I think to cure this depression from switching this all out over the past day and a half, I'm gonna go for a drive, a much needed drive, and go enjoy this and put some RPMs in the system to really warm the soul on a cool day like this. So we're gonna close the hood, move a couple cars, and get out of here for the night. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps the channel, so please make sure you do that. Also, make sure you check out our merchandise website. I have a link down in the description down below. We have a lot of great designs, including the X19, Elsa the bus, all sorts of good stuff. Even your garage time. I need my garage time t-shirt, so make sure you guys check that out down in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you.